ready for us today. You are the day. All the way. The light, the love, we can get it all the way.
All right, T Sleepers, what is going on? What is going on? It is your boy Showtime George back at you after missing last week's Tuesday waiver show. I had some personal family issues to deal with, but I am back in the swing of things. I've got with me, as always, doing all the dirty things behind the dirty scenes. I got Dirty Jobs Mike. He'll be in and out most of the night. He's got baby duty, plus he's got podcast duty, plus if the baby might duty during the show. So Mike's got a lot of duty going on over there. But with me, we got a guest. We got Sven from the Fantasy Fams. Sven, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to get back on shows with you guys for the Sleeper Waiver.
Yeah, the last time you and I did a show, I believe it was the
AMA,
the very first AMA.
The first AMA, yeah. 99% of the questions were fantasy football related.
Yes, they were. So we actually made it last week. I think we only had like 2 or 3 fantasy related questions, and then the week before that, we absolutely refused to address any fantasy questions. Like people were posting their fantasy questions, and we're like, yeah, we're not answering that tonight. We had the Fantasy Stoner and Lindsay Yoke.
Stoner's always a good time. He's always a good time.
Oh yeah, good dude, real good dude. We had the both of them on. This week coming up, I'm super excited. I shouldn't be plugging the show this early, but I am going to do it anyway. We managed to get the one and only Ryan McDowell. So
very nice for AMA.
Yeah, for the AMA.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I'm super excited about that.
That should be exciting.
Yeah, I want to pick Ryan's brain, and I don't want to do it regarding anything fantasy related. I know he gets enough of that elsewhere.
Right?
So.
Exactly. Like you have the opportunity. Who cares? Like you can see his stuff on Twitter. Like it's
yeah, he puts it all out there for you, so it's nothing to be surprised about. It's all there for you. We're gonna try to keep this under an hour tonight. The last couple of times I've done this show, we typically run an hour 45 minutes, or hour and a half to an hour 45 minutes. I'm gonna try to keep it under an hour. I know Mike has got another show after this. I want to give him a little break, give him an opportunity to get something to eat. So what we're going to do real quick is I'm just going to jump right into quarterbacks for the pickups. I'll mention some guys, whether I think you could drop them, and I'll ask you if you think they're drop worthy at this point. Yeah. Being the fact that most of the bye weeks are over, you got a couple this week, none next week. The Thanksgiving week, there's not a single team on bye, and then week 13, which will be the start of the fantasy playoffs. You got the Bucks and the Panthers on bye. Sorry if you are a Christian McCaffrey owner or if you got any of the Bucks. You should have planned a little bit better. So, I mean, it sucks to be relying on these guys all year long, and then your first week of the playoffs, like you're going to be without your best players.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, injuries of notes. We got one big injury, Drew Brees, dealing with the rib. They're expecting him to be out a few weeks. Jameis Winston has been named the starter in his place. Matthew Stafford has a thumb injury. They're expecting him to be okay. Teddy Bridgewater's got a knee issue. I'm not real sure. I didn't see a whole lot about it today. Maybe I missed it, but I don't know if they said that he's expected to miss any time. I don't think he will, but I don't recall seeing a whole lot of it.
Teddy Bridgewater?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's expected, at least right now. They're saying that he's but it's we don't know. You know what I mean? A lot can change.
Yeah, I outside of 2 quarterback leagues or Superflex, I really hope you're not relying on Teddy Bridgewater in a single quarterback league.
Unless you were legit streaming.
Yeah, unless you were 100% legit streaming.
Yeah.
A couple other guys you're probably really not relying on at all, and if you are, I am so sorry. Drew Lock's got the rib injury. Nick Foles has got a leg injury. And then we all know about Minshew and Darnold with the shoulder and the thumb. The quarterbacks we have on bye this week, only really one big one I think you've been relying on. That's Josh Allen. Outside of him, you got Daniel Jones, Nick Foles, Nick Mullins. I really hope you're not relying on any of them. Let's just jump right in now. Guys on the priority list. I would like you to rank these guys in order for me, Sven. We'll go 1 through 4. Give me the top 4 for you from this list. Jameis Winston, Phillip Rivers, Alex Smith, Kirk Cousins, Joe Flacco. Give me your top 4.
I feel like Jameis has to be the number 1.
Yeah, I agree.
mean, they're playing the Falcons too this week.
Yep.
I mean, maybe they're but the Saints are now. It's Jameis's team right now. So
Yep.
they're game planning to him. If he throws 350 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 picks, I'm okay. I'm happy with that.
Absolutely.
If I'm a Derek Carr owner too, I mean, Derek Carr's good, but he doesn't put up like big numbers.
Yeah.
I would go for him.
I'm interested in Winston. So I have Winston it's a dynasty league. I traded a 3rd rounder for him last year because I had Breeze, I had Taysom Hill, and then when Winston signed with New Orleans, I went out and traded for Winston as well. So I locked up that entire quarterback room for the Saints. I'm really interested to see. I think Winston's going to do good. The 5 games that Drew Brees missed last year, Teddy Bridgewater scored 20-plus fantasy points in 3 of those games.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got Michael Thomas, he's got Alvin Kamara. You know what kind of quarterback you've got in Bridgewater. Winston. He's going to sling the ball. Like that. That's what he does. And Winston is familiar with the Falcons. He scored. Here's a stat for you. Winston has scored at least 29 fantasy points in 4 of his last 5 meetings with the Falcons. Wow. Yes.
And he's got the talent around him too.
There's not much.
Kamara all day.
Kamara, Michael Thomas, Jared Cook, who was mighty disappointing this past week. But he's got the weapons there. So yeah, Winston's for sure my number 1. I have Phillip Rivers as my number 2. It's a difficult matchup against the Packers, but I kind of like Phillip Rivers this week.
I actually, in that 2 spot, I would say my priority might be Alex Smith. Actually, I like what he did last week, and they're playing the Bengals this week. He'll give up 270 through the air. I mean, it could. I don't know. I like Alex Smith as my second. If that's what
I like Alex Smith. Like I'm not gonna poo-poo him. My only concern with Alex Smith is that Bengals offensive line is really bad. And their front 7 in Washington is really freaking good. So we know Burrow's going to air it out, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's a good possibility Mixon does not play again. You got Gio Bernard back there. There's a good chance that Burrow's going to have to sling the ball. But I think that front 7 is going to be able to get pressure on him. And I don't think Alex Smith is going to have to throw the ball as much to beat this team.
I mean, that is definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers, I mean, Phillip likes to sling it. They can't run the ball that well. Yeah, they're giving the running backs the opportunities, but they're not doing that running game that they think they wanted to do at the beginning of the season before Marlon Mack went down. So I can see picking up Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, my last one I have on this list, I've got Kirk Cousins. The matchup with Dallas is very enticing. I know Dallas.
Yes, it is.
Their defense has been playing a little bit better as of late, but not a whole lot. They are coming off a bye, so they've got basically 2 weeks to prepare for the Vikings.
Trayvon Diggs is also out too.
Yes,
Stefan's brother, the corner. So
yeah, so it's like the defense for the Vikings. I believe this past week, they were missing their number 1, their number 3. And their number 4 corner.
They were losing basically, yes.
Yeah, so I believe they actually inquired with Dirty Jobs to see if he was available to play corner this week.
Ooh.
And he told them he was busy on Monday night. That's the only reason he didn't go there and play corner for them. So I like Cousins. I'm pretty sure. I think I would actually put Cousins 3. So you convinced me with number 2s. I'm actually gonna drop Rivers down to my number 4.
I mean, I could see, like, you know what I mean? Like, Phillip, he really is an anomaly. Like, you don't know what game he's gonna have. They crushed the Titans last week.
Yeah, they
did. I don't think anybody saw that coming. You know what I mean? So, like,
no, I don't think they did either.
Right?
Evans, B. Borvets. I can't pronounce that. I'm sorry. Looks like a very fit gentleman. I'm fit, round as a shape. My wide receivers are Evans, Allen, Higgins, Parker, Fulgham, Deontay Johnson. I'm not sure what your question is, but I like your I
like the wide receivers a lot. I would try to move one of them.
Yes, I agree. Bobby Skins, what's up, Bobby? 12-team, 2-quarterback PPR league. Are you dropping a questionable John Brown or Curtis Samuel for Pittman, MVS, or Watkins?
I would maybe drop John Brown for Pittman, if anything, because he's on a bye. You can maybe, if you really want him, which Cole Beasley and Stephon Diggs are the 2 guys that he throws to. Yes, he throws to John Brown, but I just like those 2. And Pittman's going to be the number 1. I mean, I think he's the number 1 in Indy right now anyway, like already.
It's not T.Y. Hilton, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's a guy I have a ton of across so many dynasty leagues, and it's just wilting away on my bench. I couldn't trade him for a 3rd right now if I tried. He says, or DJ Moore as the Lockett owner. I'm not dropping DJ Moore.
No, John Brown, I would say Curtis Samuel you got to keep on to. I feel like he's been playing pretty good. But I mean, and he's also on bye. I think that's the reason too, because nobody's gonna look to get him unless you got smart owners out there.
Yeah. So what this son was asking is, would you drop Fulgham knowing Rieger, Goddard, and Jeffrey are back? And I would not drop Fulgham.
No. Jeffrey's not even a conversation. Like he's not even fantasy nothing relevant right now. Not even for the team. I think he got 1 target the other day, 2 targets maybe for 1 yard. Yeah. Rieger.
Keep Fulgham.
Yeah.
You're gonna want to keep this guy. It's gonna be him. It's gonna be Rieger and Goddard. Those are gonna be the guys that Wentz is gonna rely upon. So keep.
Let's hope.
Keep Fulgham. Yeah, I mean, I don't know who you're gonna pick up for him, but I mean, I guess so. Looking at your wide receivers, I mean, honestly, if you're dropping him for a running back, maybe
trade.
Yeah, try to trade him. But I mean, your trade deadline may be passed. I believe it's this week in most ESPN leagues. So
I think I extended mine to the 28th. So after Thanksgiving, yeah, I was like, screw it. I know.
Yeah, so I know like a lot of my leagues that I set up, week 9 is the trade deadline. So it just passed. He said can't trade is passed. So the only way I'm dropping him is if you're dropping him for a running back that is somebody you could plug right in. Because I look at your roster, you've got Mike Evans, you're starting him. You've got Allen, you're starting him. T. Higgins, you want to start him. You got Deontay Johnson, you want to start him. I have high expectations with Parker, knowing that Preston Williams is injured again. We got to remember when Parker took off last year, it was all because Preston Williams was gone. So I'm expecting a big boost in production from Parker. So you've got a ton of wide receiver depth. The only way you're dropping this guy though is if you could pick it up for.
It's an 8-team. We're discussing an 8-team league.
Listen, I don't discriminate the size of your league. Like if you want to play in an 8-team league,
good. And 2 quarterbacks too. All right.
I mean, it's not bad.
Very strategic. You're gonna have to be very strategic with this kind of stuff to capitalize on your points because you're leaving a lot of points on the bench probably.
Yep.
Right, depending on the starting lineups.
Yep. So our advice, dude, is don't drop them unless you're picking up a running back or a quarterback.
Yeah. Like if that's Sullivan, I mean, that we may talk about in a little bit. You may hear a running back to pick up.
Yep. He's on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. These other guys, I'm not going to be able to recommend that you pick these guys up. We've got Joe Flacco, Andy Dalton, Baker Mayfield, potential PJ Walker. Like that is literally break glass in case of emergencies type stuff. If you are picking those guys up for week 11 in your fantasy league, there's a very good chance you probably aren't making the playoffs if you're that desperate.
Who would you pick up out of those if you had the chance? Who would you pick up? What was it? Flacco, Dalton. Who else?
Flacco, Dalton, Mayfield, and PJ Walker.
All right, so PJ Walker. Let's just assume Teddy plays, right?
Yeah. So we'll assume Teddy plays.
Baker's not going to throw the ball now that Nick Chubb's healthy. I mean, they're both going to just run for over 100 again.
I sincerely would have to start. And this is gross. I think it would be Joe Flacco. Like I threw up in my mouth saying that. Like Lindsey Yoke is out there right now. Like yes, oh my God, Flacco. But no, like I threw up. It's I got the aftertaste. It's disgusting.
I think Andy Dalton has the best weapons around him. It's can they do it?
Here's the problem. I remember the last time Andy Dalton played. And listen, it was a horrible game. They had no offensive line.
It was before he got hurt. Yeah,
it was horrible. But I have this visual because I've seen it, so I can't do it. First pick in standard league, pick up Balaj, Ahmed, or Carson. Would you drop DJ or hold?
Is that Chris Carson?
I'm assuming it's Chris Carson. I would be picking up Chris Carson.
Chris Carson, yeah.
Yeah.
Carson, Ahmed, Balaj for me. Because you're dropping DJ, right? If Carson's not playing, then I think you're going to hang on to DJ. But you still
I would drop DJ for Carson anyway.
Can pick up two. I would go Carson and Ahmed.
Yep, I agree.
Doesn't matter about your running backs. Like you need to hoard running backs. Wide receivers you could find every single week, but like running backs, you got to hoard them.
Yeah. So this guy's running backs are Jacobs, J-Rob, Swift, Monty, Eckler. Who would you rather have over Monty? I want a lot of running backs over Monty.
Yeah, me too. I'm not
like Ahmed. I would take Ahmed over Monty.
Yeah,
I would take Balaj over Monty.
Ahmed's first game last week, and he did really good.
Yeah. So I'm a Dolphin fan. Like I knew about this dude the week before, and I picked him up in a couple of my leagues.
Nice.
And it's paying off.
I try to do that. From time to time.
Yeah. So speaking of running backs, let's jump right into these running backs we got here. Injuries of note. I'm going to run through a couple of these injuries. These are just guys, popping up on the injury list. We're not really 100% sure when a lot of these guys are coming back. Christian McCaffrey, hopefully he's back this week. Potential he's not. Joe Mixon, hopefully he comes back this week. I'm not sure he will. Chris Carson, I'm very optimistic that he'll be back this week. Austin Eckler, I don't think he comes back this week. I think you got one more week without him.
Yeah.
Raheem Mostert, I'm hoping he comes back.
There is a possibility.
There's a world he comes back. David Johnson's on IR. He's not coming back. David Montgomery is in a concussion. Hopefully he doesn't come back. Jerick McKinnon's got a neck. Myles Gaston's got a knee. And then it's the running back position. Like they're all injured, right? So I'm not going to go any deeper than that. Guys on bye. Zach Moss, Devin Singletary. So Raheem Mostert, the 49ers, I forgot, are on a bye this week. So even if Mostert is good.
So he will be back week 11, I think. Yes, week 11, I believe he will be back. 12, sorry. Yep,
week 12. Wayne Gallman and David Montgomery. The aforementioned get rid of David Montgomery. Here's our list of guys that are owned in, I'm going to go 60% of leagues and under. Okay. Right. Give me your priority list. Kalen Balaj, Naheem Hines, Selvin Ahmed. We'll throw Wayne Gallman in there, even though he's rostered in slightly more than 60%.
Right, he's like right there. Yeah,
yeah, and I want to throw in the guy that I was really high on this weekend on the blitz. I was telling everybody start this guy, especially in PPR leagues. That's J.D. McKissick and Damian Harris. So there's a lot of good running backs there. Lots of good
solid running backs. Actually, I don't know. I feel like Ahmed might be my top priority because they were using him in the passing a little bit too. Or actually, no, they weren't. He only got one target.
Yeah, I was saying they weren't.
He did have 90 total yards, 21 carries though. That's the thing that actually stands out to me. And I mean, he scored a touchdown.
Yep.
But still, the fact that he got 21, like they trusted him right away. Like they didn't use anyone else.
So I think my number one waiver pickup, and this is so he's rostered in more than 60% of leagues. He's closer to 70. It's Wayne Gallman, even though they're on a bye. Since this guy took over as the legitimate starter in New York, I think he's been like the running back 4. Like
what week was it?
I think it was 4 weeks ago.
Week 7. So week 7, he's the number 3.
Yeah. So if Wayne Gallman is available, and listen, like he's not blowing you away with touches and yards, that's not happening. But what he's getting is touchdowns.
Yes, he is.
And that's what we care about. Give me the guy that I know the Giants are going to hand it to in the goal line. So since week 7 at Philadelphia, 10 for 34 and a touchdown, 5 receptions, 20 yards. Tampa Bay, another good run defense, 12 for 44, 1 touchdown, 1 reception, 18 yards. Washington, another good run defense. Their front 7 is fantastic. 14 for 68, 1 touchdown, 1 reception, 9 yards. At Philadelphia, home to Philadelphia, who's a pretty good run defense. 53 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 reception for 7 yards. He's on a bye this week, and then when he comes back, outside of Baltimore in the championship week, like there's not a run defense I'm scared of at all. He's at Cincinnati, at Seattle, home to Arizona, home to Cleveland. Week 16, your championship week, he's at Baltimore. That's going to be rough. But Cincinnati, Seattle, Arizona, Cleveland, sign me up, please.
Damn. Looking ahead, I like it.
Yes.
I like that a lot, actually.
Wayne Gallman would be my number one waiver wire pickup. Like I said, he didn't meet my threshold because he's over 60% owned. But check your roster, check your waiver wires. If he's on there, even if he's on because he's on a bye this week, like absolutely pick him up. Pick him up, and then you can thank me later. Let's get into a little bit of the news with Ahmed. Like you mentioned earlier, 21 carries for 85 yards and a touchdown. Added the 1 catch with 1 target for 5 yards. This dude, like I'm a Dolphins fan. This guy was all over the place on Sunday. Like, and he was running and he looked the part. I'm not saying he's going to be a stud week in and week out, but this week Miami's going against Denver. They're in Denver. Denver's a decent run defense. They're ranked 17th in the league, so they're like smack dab right in the middle. But if you're telling me this guy is getting another 20 touches, I'll take that. I'll take it all day long.
Mm-hmm. I would say I think my number 2 might be Nyheim Hines because they use him so much in the passing game.
Yeah. Well, they're
That's
using
the
him
biggest
in the
thing.
run game too.
Yeah, he's getting the most touches. I know that backfield's very difficult. Like you probably should avoid it, but I think that he's the one getting the guaranteed touch. It's in a PPR. If it was a standard, then maybe I wouldn't go for him. But in a PPR,
yeah, I'm assuming most leagues at this point are PPR,
right? I
and
guess
if you're not, stop playing in homeless football leagues and get into PPRs. But yeah, what you were talking about Hines this past week, 12 carries, 70 yards and a touchdown, 5 catches for 45 and a touchdown.
Second most targets on the team too.
Yep, 6 targets against the Titans. Like they're just using him so much. He reminds me a lot of Danny Woodhead.
Okay.
Is who, when I look at Naheem Hines and I look
What
at
a
what he
name.
does, yeah, I pulled that one out.
What a name.
He honestly reminds me a lot of Danny Woodhead. Like, there's a guy in leagues you were drafting super late. He's not the starter on his team, but man, they just use him so much because he's such a dangerous weapon.
Yeah.
Do you have any interest in Kalen Ballage?
I do. I had to start him last week in one league. It was pretty bad. I'm in a 14 team. Like, benches are pretty deep. It's points only, so whatever. But I would still go. He's getting the ball. They're actually using him, and he looks good. I mean, a change of scenery definitely helped him out. It definitely helps a lot of players out. But
so I don't shit. So Kalen Ballage coming from Miami, I don't crap on him. Like, everybody talked about how bad he was last year, and I would like to point out how bad the Miami offensive line was last year.
Yeah,
like that line was absolute trash.
That is true.
They invested heavy in 2 new guards, one in the draft, and they signed one as a free agent. They drafted a left tackle in the first round this year. Like, Miami has spent a ton of money and draft capital on that offensive line. And this year you got guys like Salvador Ahmed, who, just coming out of nowhere looking fantasy relevant. You could point to Kalen Ballage, was with the Jets, but that's Adam Gase, right? Like,
exactly.
Adam Gase manages to kill everybody. The only person that hasn't escaped the Adam Gase curse yet is Le'Veon Bell. So, but
I might stick with him.
Yeah. So last week, the last 2 games, really, Ballage has been the starting running. Well, not really starting running back. He picked up when Jefferson went down.
Pretty much.
33 carries, 137 yards, and a touchdown. 7 catches for 49 yards on 9 targets against the Raiders and the Dolphins. This week, he gets a prime matchup against the Jets.
Oh.
So I'm going to say he is a must start if he's available, and he's rostered in 59% of leagues. So
I think he's gone in every single one of my leagues.
Yeah. It's weird. Like, Kalen Ballage is rostered more than Naheem Hines. And if I had to rank them, I think I would take Naheem Hines over
right, like just a little bit, yeah.
So let me get to some of these comments over here. I don't know where. Let's see. Right now, my waivers, I'm dropping Monty for Hines. I love it, and the Miami kicker for Pittman.
Yeah.
I like that. Listen, the Miami kicker is solid. We'll get the kickers at the end of the show. The Miami kicker has not missed a field goal. He's the only person in the NFL has not missed a field goal or a point after attempt this whole season.
Oh, Jason.
So he's absolute money. We'll get to kickers later. That's Mike's forte. I don't want to step on his toes. He gets very possessive about his kicker recommendations. Bobby Skins, 12-team, 2-quarterback, 3-quarterback roster limit. Drop Luton for Winston. Yes. Yeah, drop Luton for Winston. I'm not reading anymore.
Luton shouldn't even be rostered.
Other quarterbacks.
Actually, he was good the first game.
Other quarterbacks are Russ, Wilson, and Bridgewater. I would drop Bridgewater for Winston. I would definitely drop Luton for Bridgewater. I put Gaskin on IR in my league. Once someone put on, no one can use him the rest of the season. That's a rule I don't like.
That's a terrible rule. That's an atrocious rule.
Yeah, yes. Listen, if you put him on the IR and you can't use him the rest of the year, just drop him. Don't put him on IR, just drop him.
Right, exactly. You're better off just drop. Got to take your chances, throw him back in the pot.
Yeah. So we're getting all the questions from this guy.
All right. He's going a little explanation. I like it. Like it. Thank you. Appreciate that, my man. All right. I like it. I like it. I do that too.
I like the block. I like the block. Absolutely.
I do that too.
I absolutely have no issue with you picking somebody up. You don't need to block somebody.
Nice.
It looks like you're in good shape here. 3-way tie for second. Congratulations. Minnie Jordan, what's going on, Minnie? Currently have Josh Allen on a bye, have Joe Burrow on the bench. Would you pick up any of these options over Burrow? Winston, Bridgewater, Cousins, Dalton, Alex Smith. The only person I would pick up over Burrow is Winston. Sven, let me ask you, would you play Burrow or would you play Winston?
I would go Winston. I think that the Washington football team actually has a pretty decent secondary, actually a pretty solid one.
Yeah.
At that, with what Darby and Fuller.
Yep.
I think at like the corners. I mean, they got a pretty killer pass rush. I think Joe Burrow could struggle in an interesting game. This is crazy. I know.
No, I'm laughing at Mike in his private comment.
Oh yeah.
Everybody who knows Dirty Jobs knows he's a huge Josh Allen fan.
He says
played in Wyoming. Josh Allen played in Wyoming when he was coming out his rookie year. I give Mike all the credit in the world. He's the only person I know that was saying draft this guy. He's gonna ball out. You're gonna be thankful. Get him in all your dynasty leagues. You're gonna want this guy. Like Mike was tooting this horn. I gave him so much crap, and I eat crow every single time. Josh Allen gets mentioned, and Mike always comments, "Play Josh Allen on his bye. He's still gonna get to 20."
Yeah. But I would say Winston, and if I can't get Winston, then I would maybe think about either Cousins or I would probably go Kirk. If I can't get Winston, maybe Kirk over Burrow.
Yeah,
Burrow's going to throw the ball. They're going to try to throw the ball a lot. Like
they're going to have to because they're not going to be able to run on that offense.
He's good for 2 picks, I think, though. I think it could be 1 or 2 picks from Joe Burrow, but I can see him still throwing maybe a lot of yards.
I would say try to go all in on Winston. Get Winston over Burrow for sure. Yes. Which running back would you start in standard this week, Swift or J-Rob?
J-Rob.
J-Rob only because it's standard. If it was PPR, it would be Swift.
I don't know. I would still go J-Rob. Did you look at the carries last week for Jacksonville? J-Rob.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Nobody else.
Nobody else.
I would listen between AP and Kerryon Johnson. I think they only got 6 total touches.
Oh,
so
I mean, it's Swift's team now. It's Swift's backfield
they
now.
came out and I really wonder how much week 1 if Swift would have caught that touchdown, the one that he dropped wide open in the end zone.
Yeah, like what would have happened? Like
what would Swift's trajectory have been this season had he caught that ball? Like,
maybe it needed to happen.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I just wonder what it would have looked like for him had he caught that ball.
He would have been doing this all season then.
Yes. And I have $30 fab. I would spend 12 of the no, because you only need them for 1 week.
Are you in playoff contention? Like, what's your, if you don't mind me asking, because I think that
they've got Josh Allen on a bye, so they're going to start Josh Allen. So it's literally just a 1 week. I think I would throw $7, maybe $8 at Winston, and if I get him, great. And if not, my consolation prize for a week is Joe Burrow.
Yeah, or Joe Burrow, and then maybe put like $5 or $6 on Kirk Cousins. But I think a lot of people actually might try to get Kirk just because of the matchup. Playing, 7-3. Okay, yeah, go for Winston. $10. I would put 10 on him.
Yeah, I'm cheap. I'm going 7.
Right? I overspend like crazy.
I'm so cheap, but I will overspend. So I will overspend on a guy if I really like him. At the beginning of the year when Christian McCaffrey went down, I dropped $77 out of 100 on Mike Davis, and
I mean, it worked out.
My league mates absolutely roasted me for it. It's a 16-team league.
Oh yeah, I would have done.
And guess what? I'm 9-1.
Why am I
9-1? Because Mike Davis was my other running back.
Damn.
I was
not the past 3 times you played though.
I wasn't the Christian McCaffrey owner either. Which made it even better.
That's awesome.
And then I tried to trade him, like the guy that had McCaffrey. I was like, hey, I'll trade you Preston Williams and Mike Davis for Deontay Johnson. And he's like, nope, not doing it. I'm only going to miss a couple of weeks. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And that dude is like, I think he's 3-7 at this point, not making the playoffs. So anyway, yeah. Tribeca, 187 wants to know. Tannehill or Matt Ryan rest of the season?
I'm looking at strength of schedule, and I believe they have actually like very similar, according to Fantasy Pros, like exactly the same like star amount. I like Matt Ryan. I think Matt Ryan. I think they're onto something right now. I think Raheem Morris this bye week. Like I think they're gonna. I actually predicted last week when I was on the Run Boys show that the Falcons would make one of the wild card spots.
It would be very impressive if they came back to make the wild card spot. Very impressive.
But I think it's very. I think it's like
it's doable. It's
doable, right? Like Matt Ryan's been there. He's an experienced quarterback. They just need to like figure something out.
What I absolutely hate is that we're going to have somebody from the NFC East is going to have a home game. Like they're not going to just make the playoffs. They're going to have a home game.
It was like the 7-9 Seahawks, right? When Beast Mode was created.
Neither one of those teams winning 7 games though. Nobody in that division is winning 7 games. Nobody.
I will say though that like I would rather watch any NFC East game than the Bears and that game last night.
that was listen. I love football. I could not
NFC
that game.
Right, dude. Like, NFC East though, those games are so competitive. I love it.
I tweeted out one tweet about that game at all last night, and that was it's 3rd and 5, and we're going to throw the ball 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. That sums up the Bears offense in a nutshell right there. Let's see. I've got butt kicker. I love it. I had to get Sanders because of the KC bye. Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't have dropped butt kicker either or Buckner. Would you rather have Hines or Ahmed in Dynasty?
Both.
So, no, I'm going to go Hines, and here's why. I don't think Ahmed is the starting running back in Miami next year. I honestly think with all of our draft capital, we draft one of those stud running backs next year.
It's really, really going to depend on how this guy plays the rest of the season. Like if he lights it up for the rest of the season, then we're definitely in a. But I see what you're saying. Like because Nyheim Hines, he has a role,
yeah,
and he's not going. Didn't they just pay him too?
They did,
right? So he's not going anywhere. Like and Phillip loves throwing to running backs, and he's talented. We just talked about it before, so. I guess I would lean Hines, but Ahmed is definitely that one player to keep on your squad. That like, all right, if this works out, then you know what, that's awesome.
Yep. I feel more comfortable with J-Rob on a dynasty team than I do Ahmed. Ahmed's doing good, but I think Myles Gaskin is coming back. He's not going to be completely dead. He'll be back at some point this season, and I think he will take back over the starting role. So in a
two-headed monster.
I don't know.
I mean, who knows? You never know.
Yep.
You never know. Not everyone's Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt.
Correct. No, and no way are we saying Ahmed and Gaskins is Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt.
Exactly. Not at all.
2 running backs so far as Jacobs and J-Rob, but I'm thinking about starting Swift over J-Rob. I'm going to say, again, we would recommend J-Rob. It's your team. Trust your gut. If your gut is telling you start Swift, start Swift.
Right? You're in a good spot.
You're in a great spot, but do what your gut tells you. Is McKissick or Burkhead worth the pickup and drop Coleman's standard scoring?
McKissick.
In a standard scoring league, I think I'm going to go Burkhead.
Is Damian Harris available?
I know her leagues, probably not.
No.
Yeah. This is Fallon.
This is Fallon?
Yeah, this is Fallon. This is her. I believe this is her big money league, her home league. I would go Burkhead over McKissick, and I think at this point, you could drop Coleman.
Right, that's Tevin Coleman, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Standard. Ooh, that's tough. That takes takes everything away from it. Because like McKissick, I mean, he's a must. He shouldn't even be available. You know what I mean? But like in a standard, it's like
it's more understandable.
Yeah. Exactly.
So if I drop Gaskins, I have $19 to spend on waivers. How much should I use to block the guy or others? I would go.
He
12.
was going for Winston, right? He was trying to go for Jameis.
Yeah, I would go 12. 10 to 12. If you're trying to block, if you're trying to block somebody and you definitely want to get them, I would go a little bit more.
Somebody's going to need him though, like he said, right? Yeah. Like I think somebody's going to spend the money though, so that's the thing. So 12 might not even be enough. Honestly, what you should really do is you should actually look at those two teams and check their FAB budget and see if they're actually both pretty low, and then bid like one more than they have.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's taking it a step further.
Gio is so cheap he won't spend 10 cents on cheese for a hamburger. So now let me ask you this. I want to get your opinion on because this is a true story. So I was buying out of my own pocket, on my own generosity. I was buying lunch for the team at work, right? And I think I ended up buying 12 hamburgers from Burger King.
Okay.
I didn't get cheese on them, and the reason I did not get cheese on them is because I work on an Air Force base, so for me to get back to work from where I was getting these from, it's about a 35, 40-minute drive. So what I did was I didn't get cheese. I drove back to work. In our little cafeteria area, we have a refrigerator that is loaded with free cheese. You have cheddar, you have pepper jack, you have Swiss. And there was, I think maybe there was one more, maybe not. No, I think it was just the 3: pepper jack, cheddar, and Swiss. So I told everybody, listen. I told them, I said, listen, throw your patty in the microwave because you're going to need to heat it up anyway. Take a free piece of cheese that you want out of the refrigerator, put it on your burger, and I just saved myself $3.50, $4 not buying cheese.
But it's not even that. It's also like you said, you're 35 minutes away. You're gonna have to heat it up anyway. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you have options at your cafeteria. Like I would have been okay with it.
Yeah, like if we didn't have the cheese option at work, like I would have gotten the damn cheese.
I feel like it was more principle than it was money.
Yes, yeah, I would like that. It was damn principle.
You hear that, Fallon? Yes, he does. That is right. The profit. That is. I was just looking at Matt Ryan's schedule actually, and it is. He's okay. So he's got Nolans this week, then Las Vegas, then Nolans again, the Chargers, Tampa Bay, KC, and then Tampa Bay again. Oh boy. I mean, Ryan Tannehill. I'm checking his.
He says this Ahmed. Listen, I can't pronounce it Ahmed. We're going Ahmed because anytime I say Ahmed, like I'm thinking of Jeff Dunham in the Ahmed the Dead Terrorist.
Ahmed, yeah,
the little puppet. Jeff Dunham is the not transvestite, the transventriloquist. So, I mean, hey, he might be a transvestite. I don't know. So
you'll have to get him on the AMA then on Friday.
Yeah, we're going with Ahmed. Okay, we're gonna. It's not a slight to the guy, like the guy, but yeah, we're going with Ahmed. Fallon said yes, it's her home league. She said no, it's not principal. I'm cheap. To be honest, it's actually a mixture of both. It's a mixture of both. Nice. Let me see.
Whopper. Making me want a Whopper now.
I know. Look at that. I bet Pepper Jack was lit on that Whopper. Kevin, it was amazing. And you know what I did? Because a Whopper was a big patty, I put 2 pieces on there.
Oh damn, dude! Because Whoppers, you don't get Pepper Jack. I mean, that's like this is something. Actually, out of all of the fast food places, I think there's not a Burger King close to me. I have like multiple of, like, you know what I mean, multiple Whataburgers down here. Like it's like
we don't have Whataburgers. We don't have Whataburgers here. So
I love it. Where are you again?
Florida.
Yes.
Yeah, I work. You can't see it. I work for SpaceX, so
SpaceX.
I'm right on the on the East Coast here of Florida, by the Space Center. This is actually not true. I will raise you a Five Guys any day, anytime.
I feel like it. I hear what you're saying. I do like Five Guys. I feel like Five Guys is like a Shake Shack, and then like a what else? What are those other places that are kind of like the? But like I feel like that. You know what I mean? Whataburger, I'm classifying with like In-N-Out. You know, McDonald's, like all like fast food stuff, like a Chick-fil-A type.
Yeah, I like the customization that you can get from Five Guys. So and I love how this has turned into a food show versus a waiver show. But
you're picking up cheese. You're picking up cheese to put.
Yes, it's full circle. So I'll ask you, and then we're going to get back to some of these waivers. Five Guys, my favorite kind of cheeseburger from them is a double with bacon, lettuce, tomato, ketchup, mustard, grilled jalapenos, grilled green peppers. That's my go-to.
Ooh, dude, I couldn't tell you the last time I was actually at a Five Guys. It's been a very long time. I do like their fries.
Yeah,
The bag.
for
fries,
me, it was probably about a month ago. Like I don't go very often, but yeah, I do love a good Five Guys burger. Who puts pepper jack on their burger? I will say this: anybody who has any sense of taste, you want to elevate your burger. Don't stay away from the cheddar. Elevate it. Put a little pepper jack on there. You get that little tanginess to it. It's amazing.
With bacon.
With bacon. Yes.
I do barbecue sauce. I agree with you on that. Yes, In-N-Out is the worst. I do not like it.
I've never had them. I'll take your word. I have Watson and Matt Ryan on my roster. Hope Ryan turns up. Yeah. At this point, I think I'm starting Matt Ryan over Watson, and that kind of pains me.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about Watson though is that he can run.
Yep.
No, I think that is the biggest why I would still start Watson over Matt Ryan.
So, do you have any interest in the following? And I know we already mentioned Rex Burkhead, but I want to throw him out there. Carlos Hyde, LaMichael P. Ryan, or Cam Akers. Do you have any interest in any of them at all?
Maybe LaMichael P. Ryan.
I mean, he's a starting running back, right?
He is, right? He gets his touches. I mean, it's going to be a negative game script.
Yeah,
so like sure. nothing's gonna change. And then if they're winning, then they're gonna maybe run the ball. Like who? But I would say out of those, maybe LaMichael P. Ryan probably.
I love how you took the Jets, who are 0 for everything, and said if they're winning, maybe they're running the ball more.
Right? But if that was an if. That was a very big if. It pains me to say a Jet, but. He's going to get he's going to get touches. Carlos Hyde, I don't even know if he's even – they have young, healthy guys, right? Like Travis Homer, DJ Dallas. I mean, and then if Chris Carson comes back, Carlos Hyde I don't even think is rosterable.
No, he's not. I've got no interest in him at all. All right, let's jump over to wide receivers real quick. We're going to try to get back on schedule here. Injuries of note: Tyler Lockett's dealing with a knee. Calvin Ridley's got a foot. Kenny Galladay's got a hip. John Brown has an ankle. Alan Lazard has an abdomen. I believe they have until tomorrow to activate him. If they don't activate Alan Lazard tomorrow, he is on long-term IR and done for the season. So I believe Alan Lazard will be activated tomorrow.
I think they will, regardless, exactly, because whether he's 100 or not, I have a feeling they're still going to activate him.
I agree.
Yeah.
So he's somebody you may want to check your waiver wire, see if he's there. If he is, you may want to just throw a sneaky $2-3 on him just to see if he does come back. I have a 16-team league. I picked him up for $1 in that league and just stashed him on my bench. So I'm really hoping he does come back. That's a league I'm 9-1 in, and then adding somebody like Alan Lazard would be fantastic.
Oh yeah, dude.
Deebo Samuel, Sammy Watkins, Mecole Hardman, just a lot of guys. Guys on bye. Here we go. These are our guys on bye: Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, Golden Tate, Allen Robinson. Break my heart there. I need him. Darryl Mooney, Anthony Miller, Stephon Diggs. I love him. John Brown and Cole Bizzle, the best rapper in the NFL at this moment. So those are guys on bye. Here are guys, wide receivers is such a deep pool.
It happened. Alan Lazard was activated.
Oh, was he? Oh,
yeah.
Fantastic.
Thanks.
I missed that.
BB Robets.
Yeah. Thank you, Roto.
I missed it too. I missed it too.
So which one of these guys is your highest priority for you?
Alan Lazard.
Well, okay, so we'll go Alan Lazard. What is his ownership? I'm curious.
That is, yeah.
He's 68% owned. So
what are you using?
CBS.
CBS, okay.
Yep. According to CBS, he's 68% owned. Give me 1 second. I'll tell you what he is in ESPN, because that's the league I picked him up and have him stashed on my bench. So if you give me 1 second. But while I look that up, let me give you some guys to talk about here. Your priority: Jacoby Jacoby Myers, Michael Pittman, Tim Patrick, Josh Reynolds, MVS, and Jakeem Grant. Of those guys, what would you say would be your priority? Yeah, I know I gave you a lot of guys to choose.
No,
from.
I know, and I put
did
actually all of those guys on my list.
Good. Talk about them.
I mean, with the Alan Lazard news now, MVS, I don't think is gonna be relevant. Maybe he earned himself with the past couple weeks that he played. Maybe Aaron Rodgers threw.
I still think he'll be their deep guy. Like when Aaron Rodgers is going to take a chance and throw it deep, like on a busted play, or if the team jumps off sides and they get a free play. Like I think Aaron Rodgers would look for MVS in that type of a situation. Mm-hmm. Alan Lazard, according to ESPN leagues, is rostered in 44% of leagues. So definitely check
now with the percentages.
Yeah, check your definitely check your waivers. I would agree that Lazard would be the number one ad.
Lazard.
Oh, did I lose you? Maybe I lost you. Maybe I didn't. Hey, Mike, you want to jump in here? I think you're on mute, Mike.
Yeah, he looks locked up like a like a something, huh? He
All
looks
right,
like he's shocked and surprised right now.
Sven, I know you can hear us. Log out and then jump back in on the stream. I'll pull you right back up. Let me throw Fallon's up here. She said earlier, Gio earlier said MVS over Lazard. Change your heart? No. By the end of the season, I still think MVS will have more fantasy points than Lazard. Why? Because Lazard has missed a shit ton of games.
Right.
So that kind of helps.
Yeah. I think rest of season I think Lazard actually probably steps back into that role a little bit. I think this MVS thing is a little bit of fool's gold myself. I think Lazard's still the guy. I think he'll still be the number 2. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a short-term memory. He's got that long-term. He loves his guys that he knows he can throw to.
Yep. Yeah, he's got trust in Lazard. I just, like I said, I think MVS is that long, deep threat, and then everything else will be Devontae Adams and Lazard. Jacoby Myers, listen, I mean, the Patriots don't have nobody at wide receiver. This dude is just – he's there, he's healthy, and he's getting targets. He's had 6 targets in 4 games in a row now, with 37 targets over that span, at least 13 PPR points in 3 games in a row. Like, solid matchup at Houston this week. I mean, with all the guys that we have out and that are injured or on bye, like Jacoby Myers is a guy you can definitely start. You can put him in your flex. Sven talked a little bit about Michael Pittman earlier. He is slowly taking over the number 1 spot in Indianapolis. He is only a rookie, so, take that for what you will. But in week 10, this guy put up 7 catches for 101 yards on 8 targets. He's got 15 targets in the last 2 games. Hopefully he does emerge as that team's number 1 wide receiver because T.Y. Hilton has looked like straight up garbage. That's a guy, as I mentioned earlier, I got way too much of T.Y. Hilton in way too many leagues. I wish I could sell him for a cheeseburger with no cheese, and nobody is buying. So
I do gotta say, like, saving $4, dude, for real.
Yeah.
and furthermore, 45 minutes of a cheeseburger sitting in a bag. That's like good marinating cheese. If you pop that thing open, it's way better. Just throwing that out there.
But it was what did he say? Principal. Yes, principal. Tim Patrick was the other guy that I had mentioned. I really do like Tim Patrick. I like what he's been doing. Mike, you want to talk a little bit about Patrick? I know you're the Bronco guy.
The thing about him is he just keeps getting it done every single week. He seems to find the end zone. Now outside of that, he is very touchdown dependent. If he doesn't find that end zone, he's good for, sounds like a tight end, a 3 for 33, 3 for 22, things like that. So I like him a lot, but that said, I mean, he needs to get in the end zone for him to be fantasy viable. But I still like Tim Patrick because he just keeps finding it. So Drew Lock not being out there is kind of a little bit scarier. And this week, I definitely would probably not play Tim Patrick, though.
I agree. The other guy I did mention real quick is Josh Reynolds. A lot of people were really high on I think it's Van Jefferson is the rookie that they had drafted, and everybody's saying by the end of the season, Van's going to take Josh Reynolds' job. Guess what? That's not happening, folks. It's not happening.
Right.
Josh Reynolds went out this week and balled. He scored at least 12 PPR points in 3 of his last 4 games. He comes into Tampa this week with 27 targets in his past 3 outings. Like, this guy is just being thrown the ball to. Buccaneers are a pretty decent matchup, but if he's going to continue to get that volume in that offense, I want some.
Absolutely.
Jakeem Grant was the last by him. Jalen Reagor. Who else we got? Rashard Higgins. Keelan Cole looked really good this past week. Bashard Perriman, Jets coming back off a bye. They got a tough opponent against the pass this week in the Chargers. Let's move right along to the tight end position. Injuries of note, you got George Kittle, Zach Ertz, Greg Olsen, Jack Doyle, and Irv Smith, who went down last night. On a bye, you got Jordan Reed. It's funny. It's like week 11, and Jordan Reed is one of the healthiest tight ends in the NFL. It's amazing. Jordan Reed, Evan Ingram, Jimmy Graham, and Dawson Knox. I don't think anybody was counting on Dawson Knox for anything, but Reed, Ingram, and Evans are Reed, Ingram, and Graham's. Some people most certainly were. Priority list. Is Zach Ertz coming back? Have you heard anything about that, Mike? Oh.
Yeah, sorry. Sven was back. I figured he'd take it.
I was on the other screen.
No worries. But yeah, no, from what I'm hearing, he was getting activated off of IR. I think that's a pretty good sign that he's coming back. That said, I don't know. I'm still kind of fading on the guy, but
yeah, I am as well. And Sven's gone again. That's okay. We're almost
so much that he left.
Yeah, he was so upset that we were talking about Zach Ertz, he just left. So the priority list, I didn't really hear the news. I didn't know Zach Ertz was eligible to return from IR. I didn't think he was going to be coming back. Listen, he looked like trash before the ankle injury. Hopefully he doesn't look like trash afterwards. I don't know if he's somebody I'm particularly interested in, even though I was all in on Zach Ertz at the beginning of the year. Don't want to have a whole lot of take lock. I'm not interested really in Zach Ertz.
Yeah.
Logan Thomas, kind of interesting with all those tight ends on bye. You could definitely do a lot worse than Logan Thomas. 6 targets in each of his past 2 games against the Giants and the Lions. He scored at least 10 PPR in 3 of his past 4. I believe the only one he didn't score over 10 points in is the one I guaranteed he'd get a touchdown. This dude kills me. Cincinnati is who he's got this week. They are 30th against the tight end, and they've allowed the second most fantasy points to tight end this season. So if you've got one of those guys that we mentioned earlier that are on bye, Reed, Ingram, Jimmy Graham, Dawson Knox, Logan Thomas, I think is streamable this weekend for sure. Kyle Rudolph, no Irv Smith. He gets Dallas. Dallas is right in the middle of the league. They're 18th overall against the tight end. Rudolph fumbled on Monday night, but he's played pretty well. And without Irv Smith there, he's going to, be the target monster at tight end. Lastly, we got Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz, they're playing Minnesota, as I mentioned earlier. Kyle Rudolph playing Dallas. So Schultz obviously clearly playing Minnesota. Minnesota's 13th against the tight ends. If you're streaming, Dalton Schultz is your streaming is a streaming tight end. What do you want from your streaming tight end? 3 for 33, 4 for 44. Like, that is legit what you can get from him. Sven, welcome back. You have any thoughts on the tight ends I just mentioned? Or anything that you wanted to specifically get on? I talked. What's that?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay. Sweet. Yeah, Dalton Schultz, interesting play. I don't see why not for a streaming tight end. Who were the other guys that you mentioned?
Oh, Zach Ertz, who I said I'm clearly – so I was a big Zach Ertz guy coming into the season, and he's killed me in so many leagues. I'm off the guy. I don't want nothing to do with him, but he's eligible to return from IR. So he's listed. Maybe you want to pick him up based upon the name alone. I don't know. The production was never there. A guy I like this week is Logan Thomas against Cincinnati. And we also talked a little bit about Kyle Rudolph going against Dallas.
Yeah, I like Logan Thomas. I think he's been playing pretty well, and they trust him. Alex Smith was throwing a bunch to him last week.
Yeah, so Logan Thomas, I don't know if you hear when I said it, he scored at least 10 PPR points in 3 of his past 4 games, which, listen, you're getting 10 points from your tight end. Like, you take that because tight end is, a wasteland. And then going up against Cincinnati, who's allowed the second most points to tight end on the season, if you're looking for a streamer, Logan Thomas is the epitome of a streaming tight end.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Maybe even like a starter every week. Hey, do you want to switch? Can you switch really quick?
Nice.
There we go.
There we go. Back.
We're back.
Internet,
Well,
I hate you.
You're back just in time for me to tell you we're just about done.
No, that's hey. I'm just happy. I didn't want to run away.
Fine. I talk to myself all day long, so I can do it here too.
Nice. Thank you. Appreciate it, Mike.
So the defenses, real quick, like I typically don't go into a whole lot of depth on the defenses. Like I'm not a guy that plays in a lot of leagues right now that have defenses, but I understand there are leagues out there that do still play with defenses, so I don't want to neglect them. My number one pickup of the week is the Miami Dolphins, and that's not just because I'm a Dolphins homer. The Dolphins have been balling out. That's all I'm saying. Their defense has been absolutely phenomenal. And then they're at Denver this week, potentially without Drew Lock. Like, give me all of that and then some. Another good defense this week for matchup wise. You got the Chargers at the Jets, Washington versus Cincinnati, the Vikings versus Dallas, and the Browns versus Philadelphia. The Browns is a defense I'm particularly interested in, not just this week, but rest of season.
They have a good team. They have actually, I think, one of the top defenses in fantasy right now.
Yeah, they are, and they also have an amazing schedule the rest of the way. That 16-team league I alluded to earlier, that is my defensive choice. Like I said, I don't play in very many leagues with a defense. This one actually still has one.
You're making me look at other leagues now.
Their remaining schedule: Philadelphia, at Jacksonville, at Tennessee, Baltimore, at the Giants, at the Jets. Like, that is a pretty enticing schedule for a defense.
Couple tough games, but nothing
Tennessee
that's like too out. Yeah,
Tennessee,
it could be.
Tennessee will be tough.
Baltimore.
I think Baltimore will be tough. But outside of that, the Jets, the Giants, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Philadelphia, even Tennessee is hit and miss. So it's not something I'm shying away for. It's not a league that I wouldn't bench them. Let me just put it that way. I would feel comfortable rolling them out there knowing they're not going to get me a negative score. And then lastly, Mike, can I pull you in for the kickers, please? Again, as you know, Mike, you are the kicker. Oh, you gotta sit down and get ready. Mike, I need you. Oh, you're muted. We're getting ready to talk. We're getting ready to talk kickers, Mike. By the way, Mike, you remember on the Blitz, you told somebody to start Suck Up because his name was Suck, right?
Yep, because I thought his name was funny.
Yes. You killed it. And this is why I say Mike is our kicker guru. Suck Up absolutely just killed it this past week. I think he had four field goals and 3 extra points. So that's what?
He got me 17 12, points in one league.
17 points in a league. Mike, you recommended a kicker for a guy that got 17 points. And this is why I keep coming to you for kicker advice, because you, without knowing it, you are the kicker guru.
Hey, as long as you keep on throwing me funny names, I'm going to keep on suggesting them.
So here we go, Mike.
Who we got?
I'm gonna give you five kickers. You tell me the top three, okay?
Okay.
Young Hoku,
Ooh,
Randy Bullock, Rodrigo Blankenship, Karimi Farbend, and Zane Gonzalez.
I'm gonna say Gonzalez. They got to go with the Blankenship, of course, because without that, your ship is sinking.
Yep.
Nice.
And then what was the second guy? Who was the second guy there?
So you got a choice between Young Hoku, Randy Bullock, and Karibi Farbon.
Give me the Bullocks. The Bullocks.
The Bullocks.
Yeah.
All right. So if you're kickers, those are guys Mike is recommending that you stream, and they will absolutely give you 17 points or more.
Or more. Yeah.
Or less.
Yeah.
Or less. 17 or less. See, real quick, we'll go through these. Quite the burger theme going on. Listen, I'm fat. I like cheeseburgers, okay? That's all you really need to know. Alex Smith does target backs and tight ends a lot. Of course he does. He's a check down king. Even when he was in Kansas City, he did a lot of checking down. The problem is he would check down to Tyreek Hill for 7 yards, and Tyreek Hill would run it for 55. So, minimal impact. Love the defense call. Thank you. And Mike, this one is for you, and we're going to end the show on this. Koo or Sanders? Young Ho Koo or Jason Sanders?
Give me Young Ho Koo, because you're always doing way better when you got a Young Ho in your life. Yes,
and it's also the Falcons kicker, and they're playing indoors against the Saints. So that's a good call.
That's too logical for me to answer that one.
So, all right. Well, that is the end of the show. Sven, why don't you tell the people where they can find all your work at?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Fantasy Schven. If you take that banner down, I think they can see it.
I'm working on it. Sorry.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Boom. So right there at Fantasy Schven, part of the Fantasy Fam. Let me see if I can.
I blew it up for us,
yeah,
so they can see your pores.
Yeah, right there. See my pores right there, part of the Fantasy Fam podcast. You can also download our app. We have an app right now where you can listen to all of our episodes and follow our Twitter on there. If you just go to the Google or Apple app stores and type in Fantasy Fam.
Awesome. You can find me on Twitter at BFTGPod. You can find Mike behind the scenes. He's doing all the dirty things that nobody else wants to do. You can follow him at DirtyJobs21. This guy says we missed my question about Teddy.
Oh, any Bridgewater news?
Right here. Yes. Any Bridgewater news wondering what to offer on Walker in Superflex? 4 point per passing TD. I wouldn't offer a whole lot for PJ Walker, to be honest. If you're desperate,
Jameis is the answer.
Jameis is the answer. Spend your money on him. But if you can't and you have to get Walker just to cover yourself, if you're desperate, you're going to have to spend more. So I would go 10 to 12. But I honestly think you could probably get Walker for like 5 or 6. So with that, we are going to close it out. Again, I appreciate everybody tuning in. I loved all the questions. We need to do more food questions on this show, clearly, because I am freaking hungry. And until next week, Sven, again, appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, man.
All right, let's get out of here. Y'all have a good night. Thank you.